Our project is Breathe Easy by Athene, myself, Anish, and Amog. The problem we attacked was asthma. Of course, asthma is very prevalent all around the world. In 2019 alone, asthma accounted for 1.5 million emergency department visits in the US. The current solution, or one current solution, is the peak flow meter, which measures air flowing out of the lungs, and it's used to gauge severity of a user's asthma symptoms. However, carrying around a peak flow meter is clunky and inconvenient, and you also have to manually measure. So our proposed solution is Breathe Easy, which is an iOS app used to determine the severity of a user's asthma symptoms for every second of the day. It utilizes health data from the watch and weather data from location to determine a user's peak flow relative to their max. So it will come back as a percentage, and the higher that percentage, the better you are. As for research, we parsed through several data sets and over 2 million data points through a PMC article, and we used Pandas, NumPy, and Jupyter Notebook to organize our data. So the bottom left image is showing our data frame and how we modified it to exclude values we didn't need. And the right picture is showing how we excluded extreme outliers. We use a scikit-learn model to make a linear regression. And we also hosted it locally with Flask, allowing for X variables to be sent and make Y predictions through an API call. We also had to make a joblib file and then use that, pass it into the Flask function, and then use that to call the predictions based on URL parameters. So for results, we found a considerable correlation to peak flow percentage. We also found that environmental factors had the most impact. So personal factors like heart rate, things like that, temperature, they didn't have that much of an effect. It was more things like air quality and pressure. For the iOS app, we wanted to display a simplistic design and also make API calls to the model and show predicted values. And we also have a demo. Here's our app with a custom icon. Loads into the home page and shows a picture of a lung and your peak flow percentage, and we're making constant API calls to kind of shift the image and change what message is being printed. This is kind of just to show how the images might look throughout different days. Then our end goal is to have some trends, so use this data in order to display some kind of daily trend, as well as a family tab that would have your family, and if you all have asthma, you can see each other's percentages, and then also an info tab that describes the goal of our app and what it does. Next steps would be connect the watch and collect real-time heart rate data, and also send notifications and use widgets. Also have family groups, so you can check on your family's percentages, show daily trends, and then eventually deployment on AWS and the App Store.